Oh, hello, hello, hello. I can't tell which way's louder or quieter.
Live and local with coverage you can count on. This is WNEM TV5 News at 11.
Every time I close my eyes, I still see that image of me in the car and it crushing in and the smoke.
Trapped inside a burning car, fearing for her life. A Mid-Michigan mother alive today because of the selfless actions of a passerby.
And tonight, she's opening up to TV5's Kate Nadolski about the events that had her thinking she was not going to make it.
I was looking right at my death. I was screaming out for help.
24-year-old Kara Wolfert of St. Louis thought it was all over for her while she was trapped inside her burning car.
I can't get the image out of my head. Never. I can't.
The traumatic day began Saturday morning with Kara heading north for a visit with her cousins, but her car spun out on US 127 near the Clare-Roscommon County line. And when it stopped, she opened her eyes to smoke filling the car. The doors jammed shut. She grew frantic, fearing she might die.
I didn't think anybody was going to stop. Finally, someone stopped and came running down that ditch, and they were trying to help me get out.
That man, Jeff Trudeau. She says he used a crowbar to smash out her window and helped her to safety. She tells me several others also stopped to help, and she made it out just in time.
Right after they got me out, and they got me out of the ditch, the car went up in flames. And if he would have waited one more minute, I would not be here today.
She suffered minor injuries to her wrist, but she knows it could have been a lot worse. And tonight, she's thankful for her life and the man who saved it.
I'd like to tell him, thank you so much for saving my life. I've still got a lot to do in my life. I've got twin brothers, I've got my husband. I'm not ready. And for him to do that, to risk coming down and getting me out of my car and saving me by 1 minute, I owe him a lot. He saved me.
Now, I spoke with her rescuer, Jeff, over the phone just a little bit ago. He tells me that on that day, he hit the snooze button on his alarm clock and he slept in an extra 15 minutes longer than usual. Ultimately, that extra 15 minutes put him in the right place at the right time. Reporting live in the studio tonight, Kate Nadolski, W1EM TV 5.
Just incredible. Kate, thank you. New tonight, Next Year Automotive closing its cafeteria over a possible case of hepatitis A. The company telling TV5 it involves a member of the non-company cafeteria staff at its plant in Buena Vista Township. Hepatitis A is a highly contagious liver infection. It's primarily spread by ingesting food contaminated with fecal matter. Next Year tells TV5 the cafeteria will remain closed until, quote, further notice.
Developing news tonight, investigators are expecting to make an arrest in a case involving 2 pipe bombs. Those bombs discovered inside logs at this home in Tuscola County's Arbela Township. That's just southeast of Frankenmuth. Now, a man who was splitting wood found 1 bomb Friday and another one on Monday.
There were also what is believed to be other pipe bombs that were actually detonated near that residence. Investigators would not comment on a possible motive.
Today, I locked on him because I just wanted to remember him. You know, the last time I saw him before last week was when we were laying on the ground fighting at the airport.
Lieutenant Jeff Neville talking about the man who stabbed him last year at Bishop Airport in Flint. Amor Fatui was convicted today in federal court of terrorism. His defense argued Fatui was unstable and struggling financially and wanted to commit suicide by cop. Prosecutors say Fatui planned the attack for months. It took jurors less than an hour and a half to reach a guilty verdict on 3 charges.
Oh, my. Temperatures in the 20s as you take this live look over Bay City and Saginaw this evening, but the wind pushing temperatures into the teens. Here's Chief Meteorologist Brian Bachman with a very chilly forecast. Hi, Brian.
Hi there, Colette. The fun never stops right there, does it? There's always seemingly to be a wind that's going to aggravate the chilly conditions that we have around mid-Michigan, and today was certainly no exception. Here's how our temps shake out at this hour. Just about everybody low to mid-20s, 23 in Caro, 22 at this hour in Flint, Marlette as well, and a couple of other low to mid-20 readings around the Tri-Cities and on toward the north and west, but those winds still cranking away at about 5 to 15 miles per hour coming in out of the west-northwest. So all of those 20s feeling more like the teens, if not single digits. Houghton Lake registering a wind chill right now of 8 degrees. Now on the First Warn 5 Sky Tracker, we do still have a couple of isolated snow showers left over and even one last burst that's trying to cross the northern Roscommon and Ogemaw County lines. But a lot of that activity will finally come to an end just after midnight, paving the way for clearer conditions and, yes, a bit of sunshine to find its way back in on Wednesday. We'll tell you all about that coming up in your full forecast.
Well, still unfolding tonight, the toll in California's deadliest wildfire rising to 48 tonight. The so-called Camp Fire in the north has now consumed more than 130,000 acres and is 35% contained. Now, hundreds of people remain unaccounted for. In Southern California, west of Los Angeles, firefighters are seeing some progress bringing the Woolsey fire under control despite some flare-ups. Now, that fire has killed 2 people. Around 9,000 firefighters are battling those wildfires.
New tonight, firearm deer season is approaching, and if recent history is any indication, there will be fewer hunters than before. That means less money for conservation and for many businesses. TV5's Scott Walczek reports.
Hunters getting ready, aiming. Firearm season is just around the corner.
It's like a holiday. You get to get away a little bit, rest, you know, go out and just hunt with friends.
Just to be out there and get away and forget about everything else and just enjoy woods.
But fewer hunters are actually getting out over the past few years. According to the DNR's Michigan Deer Harvest Survey report, 14% fewer people purchased a deer hunting license in 2017 than in 2007. And the number of people hunting decreased significantly by 2% between 2016 and 2017.
And having less hunters around means a whole lot less a business.
There's funding for DNR, but also a lot of people are out to restaurants, a lot of people are staying at cabins. All this makes some money for the state of Michigan.
Glenn Duncan is the owner of Duncan's Outdoor Shop in Bay City.
We've been slow this year. The amount of sales are down quite a bit this year. We're talking about 12% down right now for this season.
He believes the lack of hunters comes from a variety of problems. One is less young people hunting.
Their parents aren't hunting as much, and so we're not getting the new kids coming in.
He's hoping new DNR programs can help get them involved.
Firearms season starts this Thursday. Reporting in Bay City, Scott Walczak, WNEM TV5.
Now, state agencies reiterating a warning for hunters in northern Michigan. They say not to eat deer taken within 5 miles of Clarks Marsh in Iosco County because of high levels of chemicals known as PFAS found in deer. The advisory covers the area around the former Wurtsmith Air Force Base.
Well, a major move for a major e-cigarette maker trying to stop teens from using its product. Juul Labs announcing plans to pull its mango, cucumber, and fruit flavors from the shelves. From here on out, the company will sell only tobacco, menthol, and mint-flavored devices. E-cigarette makers have come under fire as the rates of teenage usage have increased.
MDOT hosting a public hearing about plans to close a dangerous intersection. The agency targeting Bagley Road at US 127 in Gratiot County. Now, it's been the site of several crashes, including one that claimed the life of a Richland Township firefighter, James Jesselaitis, last month. MDOT planning to close the intersection with a cul-de-sac by the spring of 2020.
Far and away, there's strong support for it in the community and legislatively.
It will close the area with barricades next month.
Well, it's a surgery that's not limited to older people.
We're starting to see younger and younger patients who need a hip replacement.
Find out the reasons for this trend and why many patients choose to go under the knife.
And have you considered fostering a pet? A Mid-Michigan Animal Shelter would like to hear from you. That's next.
New tonight, putting out the call for pet fosters. The Saginaw Animal Care Center says it has more than 100 dogs living in small cages. It's looking for new and experienced foster parents for puppies and elderly dogs. You may remember that in August, voters approved funding toward a new shelter, but that won't go up until next year. In the meantime, if you can foster a dog, go to the shelter so you can bring a dog home.
Well, the YMCA telling veterans, we are here for you. The Saginaw chapter hosting an open house, keeping vets apprised of issues affecting them at the federal, state, and local levels.
The Y's main focus is to strengthen community. So if we can reach out to our veterans to provide a service, that's what we're here for.
And the Y plans another open house in late February.
Well, the age of people needing full hip replacement surgery getting younger.
That's right. The reason for this trend and why fixing the problem is getting easier. That's coming up next.
And stay tuned to find out how this SUV ended up looking like this in our Coast to Coast report.
New tonight, imagine waking up day after day with excruciating pain, even struggling to stand or walk.
Well, that's the reality for many people who are in need of hip replacement surgery, and their ages are getting younger and younger.
That's right. TV5's Ashlyn Hill looks at the causes and why it's getting easier to opt out of the pain and go under the knife.
My cartilage was wore to nothing, and it was bone on bone and very excruciating pain.
Sam Alaniz says he was struggling with unbearable pain every day. He tells me he couldn't walk, work, or even sleep because his pain was so excruciating.
So I was starting to lose sleep every night and started to affect my life and just really bothersome every day.
Alaniz tells me it got so bad he needed medical attention. When doctors told him he needed a total hip replacement, he says it was a complete shock for someone his age.
You're only 49. Did you ever expect at that age to need such a large procedure like a hip replacement?
No. At 49, I didn't think that nothing like that would have to happen. I waited as long as I could, and it just had to be done.
Now, when you think of hip replacement surgery, you typically think of older patients, around 70 years old or so, right? Well, now there's a growing trend for more younger and younger patients to receive a full hip replacement.
So why the need now? Well, there can be several factors like genetics, extreme obesity, heavy wear and tear on your body from a physical job, or simply someone who's had an accident causing a hip fracture.
Traditionally, 20 years ago, we like to reserve hip replacements for older folks in their 70s ideally, and although that's still a large portion of our population, we're starting to see younger and younger patients who need a hip replacement.
And Dr. Sean Wilson, an orthopedic surgeon at McLaren Hospital in Flint, says some of those younger patients may need a second hip operation years later if the implant wears out or there's another problem. She credits surgical innovation for making much of this possible.
I think as our technologies have improved in putting in hip replacements and our abilities with 3D printing and custom implants to be able to redo those hip replacements in 10, 15, hopefully closer to 20 years.
And even though patients tend to need another hip surgery in the future, Alaniz says he would still make the same decision. He tells me his road to recovery is not over, but he's already feeling the benefits.
I feel about 80–85%, a lot better than I did 7 months ago.
In Genesee County, Ashlyn Hill, WNEM TV5.